Force Awakens left us on a literal cliffhanger.
When I read 8, I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character.
If only he knew what he was about to unleash. What's up, everybody? My name is the Golden Man, and today we're gonna talk about Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, or as some people call him,
Jake Skywalker.
Am I here to tell everyone why this portrayal of the character is amazing? No. Am I here to tell everyone why Rian Johnson ruined his character?
No.
Am I here to give you a nuanced view on why so many people disagree about his portrayal?
Yes!
After The Force Awakens came out, there was so much speculation about what grown-up Luke would be like and why he was on the island in the first place. And then Rian Johnson showed up, grabbed all of your expectations, and shoved them up your So why the divide? How come this portrayal seems to be the most divisive thing in Star Wars history? More divisive than Ewoks, more divisive than midichlorians, and more divisive than... It used to be that you never talked about politics or religion with strangers. Now, it's you never talk about politics, religion, and The Last Jedi. Today we're gonna dive deep into why people have differing opinions on the subject of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. So let's begin. I think before I talk specifically about Luke, a discussion about art in general needs to be had. For the longest time, there has been a discussion about objectivity versus subjectivity in film. One side of the argument argues that all films can be analyzed by an objective standard. If a film matches a certain criteria, then it would be good. But if it fails to match a certain criteria, then it is bad. The other side of the argument is that all films are completely opinion-based. Yes, you can make certain objective observations about a film, like the name or gender of a character, but you cannot make an objective observation about the quality of the entire film. I've made a video on this topic before about why I am someone who is on the subjective side of the argument. But since then, I've become to reevaluate my stance, and I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Do I think you can simply say a film is factually good or bad? No. But do I think someone can say The Room is a better movie than The Godfather because all films are subjective? Not really. I was hanging out with a good friend and we were talking about the new Fast and Furious movie. He was talking about how much he loves the franchise and how he loves every film. I, a super educated film nerd, was confuzzled by the claim because I hate those movies. When I asked why he likes them, he said because he loves racing movies and the Fast and Furious franchise does racing better than anyone else. What I came to realize was that we had different standards for what makes a great film. Remember, I am a super educated film nerd. I care about character arcs and themes, which the Fast and Furious movies don't really do so well. On the other hand, my friend cares about the quality of the action. So if you're looking at the movie and judging it by the entertainment value, then the movie is one of the all-time greats. But if you are looking at it for depth and interesting characters, then it won't be an all-time great. So while I don't think all film is objective, if you establish a certain criteria as to what makes a great film to you, then you can analyze it on an objective level. I know I just went on a big tangent about art and some stuff, so what does this have to do with Luke in The Last Jedi? Remember how I said people go into movies with certain standards? Well, the same thing applies to Star Wars. It doesn't matter what George Lucas says. Any audience member can go into a Star Wars movie and want different things to come out of the movie. When Luke said,
"I'm gonna walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole First Order,"
a lot of people in the audience were thinking, yes, that is exactly what I want you to do. Some people may go in and want the ideas of the Star Wars franchise to be challenged, and those people will probably really like the movie. What I've come to notice about the criticisms against The Last Jedi is that they all seem to share one main complaint, and that's that Rian Johnson disrespected the legacy of Star Wars. Some may look to Luke as a symbol for hope and optimism, that no matter what can happen to him, he would never give up and always continue to fight. So when Luke says,
Time for the Jedi to end,
that goes against the identity of the character for so many people. And those people are not wrong for feeling this way. Most of the people who hated The Last Jedi loved Luke's appearance in The Mandalorian because that's what they want from the character, not this. Some other fans may really appreciate the message Rian Johnson is trying to send, and thus they will love the movie. I'm aware that the debate about this character is not that simple. I know there are plenty of people out there who love powerful themes and character arcs, but hate this movie. So why is that the case? Even from people who have similar standards for their Star Wars, there still seems to be a massive disagreement. This question is undoubtedly more complicated to answer, but if I had to guess, I would say it has to do with the fact that we begin the movie with Luke in his depressed state. We last saw Luke as the optimistic boy from Return of the Jedi, and only 2 movies later, he is a depressed hermit who wants the Jedi to end. The enjoyment of this movie, and more specifically your appreciation of this portrayal of Luke, entirely depends on this change without actually seeing the change happen. Say in a hypothetical universe, The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones were the first 2 and only 2 Star Wars movies for a time. Then, instead of Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3 was A New Hope, and you somehow knew that Anakin would eventually become Darth Vader. Many people who would have been fans of Anakin would scream character assassination because there is no way the caring and loving boy from The Phantom Menace could become this mass murderer and a face of evil. But because we have Revenge of the Sith, a lot of people appreciate and understand Anakin's fall to the dark side. This is basically what Luke is like in The Last Jedi. Since all we get is one flashback from the 30 years between episodes 6 and 7, a lot of people scream character assassination because we aren't shown the transition of one version of the character to the other. Rian Johnson said the reason that Luke is on the island is because he sees himself as a threat to the galaxy. He believes that the Jedi are the cause of all the problems in the galaxy, and he must remove himself from the fight if there is to be peace. Many accept that explanation, and that's great, but since we never see Luke come to that realization or see why he came to that realization, it's hard to accept. It's the same thing with Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker. If you can simply accept that Palpatine is somehow alive, then you may end up enjoying the movie. But accepting that Palpatine is alive is a huge pill to swallow. I think we all assumed that at some point Luke would die in this trilogy. Many wanted to see Luke go out in a blaze of glory if he were to die, to get Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, to take out his green lightsaber and kick ass. But we didn't get that. Luke died alone on a rock, and with the exception of a flashback, never ignited his green lightsaber. To some, that is a major disappointment, regardless of how he died. But to some, seeing Luke overcome his depression and face the source of his fears while sacrificing his life to ensure no one else would die is very powerful. When Luke began his story, he wanted a life of adventure, a life of meaning. That's the visual storytelling of the twin sons. When he dies, he's looking back at the twin sons having lived that life of adventure, and just as the title of episode 4 promised, he became a new hope to the galaxy. To some, this is enough to make the movie great, and they can forego any giant pills that needed to be swallowed. Now, is this bad writing on Rian Johnson's part? Well, that's up for you to decide. I'm not here to debate the quality of The Last Jedi, but I do want to offer people some hope. I know there's a corner of this fandom who by no circumstances wants to see any connections to the sequels. To them, the sequels disrespected the franchise and there is nothing that can be done to fix that. Now, there are other people who love the sequels and that's great, but I think most people lie somewhere in the middle. They may have been disappointed by some or many aspects of the sequels and hope that one day the events of those movies can make sense to them. Well, welcome to the Filoniverse. As much as some people may not like it, shows like The Mandalorian and the ones that take place in the same era are going to connect to the sequels. The Bad Batch ended with the implication that Palpatine began working on cloning himself all the way back 54 years before the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Connections are going to be made, and with Luke's appearance in The Mandalorian, we're definitely going to get more of Luke. I would be shocked if at some point Dave Filoni doesn't explore what happened between Luke and Ben Solo. I genuinely believe one day we will get a more fleshed out story of that flashback, and there's a chance that story could fix The Last Jedi for you. I'm not gonna say that's definitely going to fix it for a lot of people, but I think there's a solid chance. And that's everything I have to say about Luke in The Last Jedi. Thank you everyone so much for watching another one of my videos. Don't forget, new videos every Monday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the Claude Squad, and I will see you guys next time.